We live in a universe that is alive with stars. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, has 400 billion stars or suns. There are at least 100 billion solar systems just in the Milky Way. And there are billions of galaxies like ours. The Earth is like a tiny grain of sand on a huge celestial beach, and this isn't the only beach. Why would there only be life on Earth? MC Castepol presents.
Hola amigos, soy Sixto Paz.
Hi my friends, I'm Sixto Paz Wells. I was born December 12, 1955 in Lima, Peru. My father used to research UFOs before I was born, so I was raised in an environment where the subject was common. In fact, my father used to teach my brothers and me, when we were boys, to think that it would be impossible that there would be life only on Earth. He said it would be very strange indeed if there were no life beyond this planet. My father, with some friends from the Air Force, created an institute for the study of UFOs. In 1973, he was invited to speak to a yoga group, and I went along with him. I was 17 years old then. While I was there, I met a group of people who were very much into spiritual subjects, although not in a religious way. I liked so much what they had to say that I spent some time with them practicing breathing, relaxation, concentration, and the meditation of Hatha Yoga and Mantra Yoga. The following year, 1974, a report in the most serious and conservative newspaper in Lima, El Diario El Comercio, said it had been discovered that outer space was not a place of deathly silence as believed, and that noises coming from the universe were a cacophonous riot of sounds, some of which might be other civilizations trying to communicate with us across the universe. This interesting report made my father invite Dr. Victor Yáñez from the police hospital in Lima, who held a high degree in masonry and was a member of the Theosophic Society, to lecture on telepathy, or transmission of thoughts across long distances. The doctor said that if people of other worlds were trying to communicate with us, they might not just come in spaceships. They might try to communicate through our thoughts, or astrally, through our dreams. This idea seized my imagination with such force, and when I got home and told my mother and sister what I had heard, we decided to try it out, to play a game where we would try to clear our minds and receive a message from beyond. We sat down at a table with paper and pen and agreed to write down any thoughts that seemed not to be our own, but coming from somewhere else. By doing so, we hoped to detect a possible message. We started to practice some meditation, and about 15 minutes later I felt an irresistible urge to write something down, and an anxiety that forced my eyes open. I was not in any trance state whatsoever, I was fully conscious. I started writing very quickly. I felt like someone was speaking in my ears, saying, "Living room, good place to communicate. My name is Oxalak. I am from Marlem, one of Jupiter's moons. You call it Ganymede. We will communicate with you and soon you will see us." I thought this wasn't real, of course. It had to be a product of my imagination. But then my mother and my sister told me that they had received the same message, but they chose not to write it down. I had written it down as I was mentally receiving it. This is called psychography, or automatic writing. Next day, with some friends, we repeated the experiment. This time, though, we asked for a signal. In the course of the experiment, we received instructions to go on February 7, 1974, to Chilca Desert, south of Lima. We arrived the day before to become acquainted with the environment. We didn't want to confuse a meteor, satellite, or airplane with the expected sighting. After darkness fell, suddenly there was a strange brightness. Behind the mountain, everything was lit as if it were daylight. All of us saw a glowing object moving along the mountain crest. When it stabilized on the right side of the horizon, the members of our group started asking each other, "Do you see it?" "Yeah, I see it too." "What is that light?" As it started to descend, it hovered at an altitude of some 80 meters. It projected a light as bright as the midday sun. It was shaped like a disc and had a dozen small wings. We all felt terror, panic. We'd never been so frightened. And yet we all grasped in our minds the message they were sending. They wouldn't come down at that moment because we couldn't control our emotions. Later there would be a time and place. That time came months later when they landed in the desert and we had the opportunity to see them physically. Anthropomorphic beings, humanoid, similar to us. At the beginning, their communication was all telepathic. Had it all ended there, these experiences wouldn't have much significance. But a Spanish journalist, Juan José Benítez, who today is known worldwide for his Trojan Horse series of books, back then a correspondent for the FN News Agency, was sent to Peru to cover the story about a group of teenagers who claimed to have had contact with extraterrestrials. We went out to the Chilca Desert with him. And at the exact time, on the exact day announced and messages that we had received, this journalist was able to spot 2 UFOs in the sky. To us, they were DAVs, directed alien vehicles. The sighting demonstrated to his satisfaction that it is possible to establish contact with extraterrestrial beings. When he returned to Spain, Juan José Benítez wrote his first book, UFOs, SOS to Humanity. This book made our contact experience known around the world. As the years progressed, our communication with these beings became more and more fluent. We were allowed to receive the information that we are about to share with you, stories about the cosmic plan, extraterrestrial cosmogony, and the origins of humanity. It is the story of how the human being is the result of extraterrestrial genetic experiments, and how, through our biological history, there has been hybridism and crossbreeding, stellar shipwrecks, colonization, and even deportation of aliens to our world. Without considering the extraterrestrial link, human history doesn't make sense. UFOs, our extraterrestrial past, the cosmic plan.